Today we're going to be taking a look at the top 3 broken bleed builds that you guys can have now. You are going to be so OP, dealing an insane amount of damage at a high rate speed, optimized for level 150, melting away enemies and foes in seconds, light enough to get you out of trouble, and amazing poise to withstand any hits. I'm going to show you guys what attributes you need to use, also what talismans you're going to be able to use. What these 3 builds have in common is that they make you feel like you're cheating the game itself. You guys are going to be dealing the highest bleed damage in seconds, deleting anything. With the patch 1.06, things just got even better in Elden Ring. So let's jump in and let me show you guys what you need to do. If you like how that sounds, a like is much appreciated. So let's dive into the video. So the first build we are going to be taking a look at, and we're going to be focusing on 2 weapons, and that is going to be the amazing katanas. Yes, one of them is going to be the nagakiba and the other one is going to be the uchigatana. These 2 weapons put together delete anything that stands in its way. Not only are you guys going to be causing bloodlust buildup of 88, what we are focusing here is on breaking the game itself by using the mechanics that the game allows us to use. So in this case, we're going to be using bleed. And not just bleed, the affinity itself. No guys, we are going to be using occult, because what we are trying to do is have the strongest weapon to deal the highest amount of damage. And on top of this, we are going to be raising our blood loss, which you guys are going to be a killing machine, deleting everything within seconds. You guys are going to be so OP. Now, the Nagakiba weapon, you guys will be able to get this from Yura, the finger hunter. He will be able to drop it. The next weapon is going to be the uchigatana. You guys are able to get this weapon in 2 different ways. One of them is if you start off as a samurai class, you guys are automatically going to be able to get this weapon. It's one of the best weapons you guys can get. And the other way you are able to get this weapon is that you can find it inside the Death Touch catacombs. Pull up your map, and this one is going to be located right down here, which is going to be located right here. Go through the whole entire catacomb and you guys will be able to find this on a dead corpse. And if you guys are new to the game itself, you may be asking yourself, why am I using occult versus bleed? One will be is that if you guys use bleed on a weapon that already has a passive effect of blood loss, what you guys are going to be doing is weakening the weapon itself. What the best thing to do is, if the weapon, like in this case, has a passive effect of blood loss, you guys need, and when I say need, you guys have to have occult over bleed 100% all the time, because you are going to be raising not just the attack power of the weapon itself, but also the blood loss at the same time, which you guys are going to be taking advantage of both things. And next, we are going to be using the white mask. This one here, you guys will be able to acquire it once you complete the various quest line. Then we're going to be using the Raptor's Black Feather. This one here is going to be able to increase your jump attacks by 10%, giving you that extra advantage. And then the rest, we're just going to be using the fingerprint, gauntlet, and grips to give us a little bit poise. We're going to be at 22. And I know you guys are asking your question. I mean, that's kind of low, right? You can get deleted fast, but guys, I have a solution for that. So stay tuned towards the video. And later on in it, I'm going to show you guys what you need to do to be able to have enough poise to withstand hits. Now onto the talisman that you guys need to use for the builds themselves. First one is going to be the Lords of Blood Exaltation. This one is dropped by Esgar, the Priest of Blood in Lindel Catacombs. This is going to raise your attack power by 20%, for 20 seconds when bloodlust in vicinity, which is going to increase the power itself. Next, you're going to use the Rotten Windsword Insignia. This is going to greatly raise attack power with successive attacks. And what do the katanas do? They're going to be doing successive attacks. In this one here, you guys are going to be able to get through the Millicent quest line, as well as the Millicent prosthesis. This one's also going to raise not only your dexterity by 5 points, but it also is going to raise your attack power with successive attacks. Both of those two talismans you guys will be able to get through the Millicent quest line. They're going to be dealing 3 different stages of damage by 3. Next one is going to be 5 and 6, and then the next one is going to be 12 and 13. You guys using those 2 together, you're going to be, trust me, deleting anything that gets in the way. And then the Shard of Alexander, this one is going to greatly boost your attack power, and you guys will be able to get this once you complete the Alexander questline. Take him out, and then you guys are going to be able to get one of the best talismans you can get in the game itself. Now what we're going to be doing next is we're going to be using the Flask Wondrous Physics, and we are going to be using 2 tiers which are going to pretty much help us break the game itself. One is going to be the Tourney Crack tier. This one here is going to temporarily boost successive attack powers for an additional 3 minutes, meaning that the crack tier, and on top of this, we are going to be using the Rotten Windsword Insignia and the Millicent prosthesis. Those 3 things put together are going to be helping you guys melt anything that gets in your way within seconds. Nothing in Elden Ring is going to be surviving that very, very easily. And as I promised to you guys, what you guys need to do to be able to boost your poise is use the Linden Heart tier. This one is going to give you a boost to your poise, which is going to help you survive and stay alive for a longer period of time, meaning that you guys are going to be able to take damage, which is going to help you at the same time deal the most high damage that you guys can in this build itself. Now, let me tell you guys something about this. Why do you guys need to use occult? One of the reasons why I explained to you guys earlier is because you guys are going to be maximizing the power within the weapon itself. But there are 2 things that you guys need to do. One of them is that you guys need to use the seppuku in the Nagakiba or in the Uchigatana. You just choose whatever weapon you want to infuse it with. But when you do that, you need to use occult. Now, the best thing about seppuku is that you guys are going to be automatically infusing blood loss right away, meaning that you guys are going to be proccing it right from the beginning at your first strike that you do to any foe. So that means you guys are going to be deleting. And let me show you guys here really quick. I'm showing you one example without the seppuku itself active. And I'm also showing you guys another example with it being active. And you guys get to see the difference between having it active and not having it active. And trust me, for an additional 80 seconds, you're just going to be killing anything, breaking the game itself, deleting anything that gets in your way. And if you guys use everything that I've showed you here in the build itself, from the talismans, from the armor itself, the weapons, and also the crack tiers, you guys are going to be too overpowered. Let me show you guys the other 2 sets of weapons that break the game itself, because it's going to use the same type of talismans, the same type of affinity, and also the same crack tiers all put together. This 3 separate set of weapons break the game because they take advantage of one thing that sometimes in the game itself we don't think about it, and that is occult versus bleed. And if you guys are able to use occult 100% of the time, you guys are going to be breaking. And if you put everything together that I showed you guys here in the game itself, you guys are going to be able to do that very easy. Next set of weapons are going to be the vulgar militia saw. This two set of weapons are very OP. The reason why these weapons are the best probably weapons that you guys can get in the game, not only because you guys are able to infuse Ashes of Wars, and in this case we're going to be using the seppuku, but the passive effects with the blood loss buildup, we are able to increase it to 115, and at the same time we're going to be using occult, which is going to be dealing an insane amount of damage. And as you guys saw it from right from the beginning, and you guys are seeing it throughout the entire video, these three type of different weapons are so amazing that sometimes they're very underrated, and you guys are going to be able to just take out anything that gets in front of you. Now, to get these weapons, pull up your map, and we are going to go by the Farum Great Bridge. Around this section here, come to this grace point, and you guys are going to be able to farm these weapons around this section here. It's going to be about 3 or 4 different foes, those little tiny guys that have this weapon. Defeat them and just keep farming it until you guys get it. It's a 2 to 4% drop rate, so you guys should be able to get this like within half an hour. In the next set of weapons we are going to be using in this build, which is going to be deleting so broken, you guys are going to be able to take out just about anyone, is going to be the Scavenger's Curved Sword. The best thing about this sword is that with update 1.06, these weapons became even greater than what they were, because not only the light, the heavy, and also the special attack are much faster, which means you guys are going to be just pretty much deleting anything that gets in your way. And as I mentioned, you need to always infuse it with occult, seppuku, and then with this, guys are going to be increasing the bloodlust from 45 to 87. You're not going to be making the weapons themselves weak. Your guys are going to be making them very strong. So when you guys hit anything, it's going to feel like you guys are hitting like you guys were a truck. Now, where can you get these weapons? Pull up your map, and they are actually going to be around this section. It is right here around this section. You guys are going to be able to get the weapons around this section here. Now, the attributes points that you guys need to use for this 3 different weapons, 3 different builds that are going to be OP. 1, you guys need to use vigor at 40. This is going to give you guys just enough HP to be able to stay alive and pretty much just damage your opponents. Next one is going to be mine at 15. We do not need too much of it, because what we are doing is just we're just using blood loss to our advantage, and we are not going to be able to use too much of the mine. You're only going to be able to use that when you guys are using the different 2 incantations. One is going to be grant me some strength, and the other one is going to be the golden bow. Put together, you guys are going to be able to increase your damage by 35%. Now, endurance is going to be at 20, and that is the great thing about this build, that you guys are going to be light enough to be able to get out of the way if you guys get into any trouble. Strength is going to be at 18. Dexterity is going to be at 27, just enough for us to pretty much just use the 3 different weapons that are within this builds. And then intelligence is going to be a 9. Faith is going to be at 25, because we need to use golden bow, which is minimum requirements are 25. And the secret sauce of this build is going to be arcane at 80. Raising it to 80, you guys are going to increase the bloodlust that is within the 3 different weapons. In this case, it's 4 weapons, because we're using 2 different katanas. You guys are going to be dealing so much damage because we are increasing the arcane power that is within the 4 different weapons. And then on top of that, with a different type of talismans, armor, and also the crack tiers. And then on top of that, using occult versus bleed, you guys are going to be breaking the game in every single slash that you guys throw at any foe in the game itself. Final thoughts about this build. Final thoughts about these 3 different builds. Yes, you guys are able to use the different 4 weapons to your advantage, and that is the great thing about it, because you guys can use any actual words, and they are even more potent, more powerful than you guys would even be able to do that with a Rivers of Blood, which is practically just dead. With 1.06 came alive, Rivers of Blood went to die. So once again, guys, thank you guys for watching. If you guys like how these builds are put together, a like is much appreciated. Also, don't forget to hit that subscription button, because we got lots of more Elden Ring videos and also more gaming related videos. And a special thank you for those that hit that thank you button and also join the Bolt Nation. You guys help the dream stay alive. Now, take a look at this Bleed Fire build that are insane. I'm sure you guys are going to love it, because if you love Bleed, you're going to love Bleed and Fire put together.